Hello everyone, I'm Dakian. This is Monday the 30th of January 2017 and I've got some newly painted miniatures to show you. Well, to begin with we have the pirates. I finished 3 dudes and 1 gal. This one turned out a bit more drab than I had intended. I probably should have made the shirt a bit whiter, more crisp. That would have created more contrast to the vest. Oh well, you live and you learn. The harpooner here is perhaps a little bit better. He's more colorful. And this guy, the dual sword wielding guy, now here I experimented and tried to paint striped trousers. They didn't turn out all that great, kind of. I need more practice at that. But you know, it's one of my first tries, and if at first you don't succeed, just try again. And here we have a female pirate who is more colorful. The red boots and pink pants and green coat and purple hat and bright feathers. Lots of color there. So I actually kept her hair a rather subdued color because I knew that I was making the clothes so glaring. And finally this week I finished the 2 kelpies. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should have differentiated the hair color more from the body, but you know, I had the idea that I should keep the entire creature, the kelpie itself, green, various shades of green, and then have the seaweeds and stuff around in other colors for the contrast and differentiation. And I don't know if you can, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I made the eyes blue, though tried to make them not quite human looking, but a bit alien, because they are not human. This hand, the lower one here, looks bent rather strangely. That's because it was slightly miscast and basically just broke at the wrist in the packaging, and I had to glue it back on, and that was the best I could manage, but you know. So a grand total of 6 minis completed. Let's move on to see what I'm still working on. And here we have the rest of our lovely ladies in the back row, ladies of the sea. As you can see, they've all got a bit more paint on them. I'd say they're all between, well, at least 50% done. Some I might say 75% done, like these two at the end here. Now the Scourge of Suderham here models, the D&D models, are just started. Done some work on the stone on the bases, just barely started the flesh tones. But, you know, the ones in the back row here I expect to have done by next week. Regarding this wagon, I've only gotten as far as cleaning everything and trying to figure out how to assemble it. There were no instructions with it, so I've had to look at the picture on the website and try to figure it out, sort of reverse engineer it. I mean, the wheels are reasonably obvious. They fit on like that. The sides of the wagon from the picture, I could figure out they're supposed to be this way. So these little things extend down there. That doesn't quite fit the way it's constructed. I have to, because there's little nubs here, so I'll either have to drill a hole here or file that down. What else do we have? We have this little thing. Oh, sorry, have it in shot. This connects to these things, which in turn are the harness for the horse. So where on the wagon should this attach? There's not really a clear answer to that, because in the picture these things just sort of disappear under the wagon and the wheel is in the way, so you can't really see what's happening. But I would think it attaches to this section. I simply glue it on between these two nubs, like so. That seems like a logical place for it. That would fit with the proportions I can see. Now, what else we have? This thing, it had, I fouled this down so it's flat. There was a bit, it's like a trough, which you would think went on to this portion, but it didn't actually fit. It the hollowed out portion was too small, so it didn't fit anyway. So I just took the whole thing off, and I'll just glue it straight on like that, I think. Now, the riders, my initial impression was that I could only fit one here and the other would be a spare. He might ride in the back of the wagon. But on the picture on the website, they actually managed to fit both on there. And it's kind of like difficult. Yeah. But it's barely possible. The legs, they'll each have one leg like outside the bench, but it'll work. Now, these guys, these are the stars of this kit. I don't know if you can. It's probably not in focus. There we go. Now you can see them better. Now you can see the very nice sculpting, very nice detail, and not really any mold lines to speak of. I've cleaned off the ones that were there. I forgot to mention, this is Fenril Miniatures, a French company. Now, one reason they can get so much detail in there is, of course, these are really big minis. These are, I would say, at least 35 millimeter. I haven't measured them, but in scale, they're lots bigger than your normal 28 mil miniatures. Now, the only thing, now I've shown you everything that's in the kit, the thing that's sort of missing from the kit are reins, because both these guys seem to be holding something. I hold something there, and he's got reins there. I'm gonna have to model reins of my own from something. I'll have to scrounge something up to represent the reins, because it'll look weird otherwise. But yeah, I think I'll have to paint a lot of portions to this separately, like assemble most of the wagon itself and then at least paint the underside before attaching it to a base and then painting the top side. I think that's the way to go about it, but we'll see. Anyway, that was all the works in progress. Do I want to start something? So it's time to start up a few new projects, and I've selected some from my stash that I think I want to paint next. A couple from this is from Reaper, from their Pathfinder series. Osirian Living Monolith. I suppose this is some creature from the Pathfinder game. I've seen the painted up version on their website. It looks like a stone golem, a smaller stone golem. So I'll make it like that. And then we have the Penangalan, which is upside down. This is a Southeast Asian monster that has been a part of D&D since the Fiend Folio back in first edition days. It might be a little hard to see what it is. It's a disembodied. It's a head. The Pangolin is a monster, a female monster, a kind of vampire, who only drains blood during the night. And when it does, she detaches her head from the body, but her organs come with her. Not the rest of the body, and it's trailing behind the head as it flies through the air to find somebody to suck the blood from. Good fun. I also thought I would start up a couple of hassle-free minis, some monsters. This is HFM001, the first monster hassle-free ever made. It's an ogre, I think a half ogre, called, I think his name is Mjolnir, and he's in a bunch of pieces. Here's the legs, and here's the upper body, and the head with the helmet, the hand with the sword, the hand and the shield, and there's a kind of scenic base. It's mostly just a lump of metal. It's rather primitive. I'm not sure. I don't think I'll be using this. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to use this. The other hassle-free miniature I've got is from the Demonette series. It's called Jen with Altar. Jen, I suppose, is this lady here. So there's 2 more bags inside the bag. That's kind of unnecessary. So there's an altar with a pentagram on it, and a seated female, all naked, for whatever reason. So that would be a fun project. We'll see. Anyway, I'm putting these in the queue. And to close out this episode, what I'd like to show you this week is not miniatures, but it is miniatures related. It's a book about miniatures. It's called The Fantastic Worlds of Grenadier. I backed this on Kickstarter. It says a chronological product history of top gaming miniatures company Grenadier Models Incorporated. And it has some text and some pictures. Allow me to demonstrate. It starts out with some background introduction, and it starts with the history of the company from the beginning to its end. And some of the pictures are simply box art. Some is taken from old advertisements. Some seem to be newly taken pictures. And they are very variable quality, the pictures. It's like I said, some of these are fuzzy scans of old brochures and advertisements. Some are crisp new pictures. But they're all interesting, and to me this is a fascinating book because it reminds me of a lot of miniatures that I have, that I painted, and some that I did not get back in the day, some that I thought of buying but didn't, and it's sort of a nostalgic look back at the industry as it was. And yeah, some pictures of color, some are not. Here's a miniature you might remember if you've been watching Netflix the past year or so. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting to recall. I sometimes forget which company made a certain miniature, and I can find these pages and discover that, oh, it's Grenadier. And yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say about it, except that if you're interested in the hobby's history, you could try to pick up a copy of this book. I don't know if it's available anymore outside the Kickstarter. It's by Terrence Gunn. As I said, it's called The Fantastic Worlds of Grandier. You could try Googling it if you want to get hold of it. But anyway, that's all I had for you. Oh, and it ends with some short interviews with some of their sculptors, including Andrew Chernak, who was the founder of the company. Anyway, that was this week's episode of my rambling. Sorry. And I'll see you next week, barring any misadventures. Until then, have a good week of painting. Like and subscribe to this video if you would like to do so. And this is Dakia, signing off.